Hi, this is Mordrew coming at you with my first Path of Exile video slash League starter. And I wasn't so sure about putting this video out just because everyone generally has their League starters such as Toxic Rain, Blade Vortex, Blade Fall, Blade Blast, all of which are still going to be very viable despite the nerfs this upcoming League. Uh, but I did have a lot of fun with this build, and I want to share it with you guys here today. So the League starter I decided to go with was an Elementalist uh, character called should have gone with option A, and the build I was using was Armageddon brand. So this was an Armageddon brand Ignite Elementalist build um, that was fairly cheap to uh, get off the ground. I was able to invest in it really quickly because I did find a faded connection, which I was able to sell for 6 exalts, I believe, at the time. And then I was able to make some really big upgrades, such as my Ember Wake, my Amulet, and my weapon. That's what it was. Uh, the weapon cost me about 1 exalt, only because I had a 37 to fire damage multiplier, which is a tier 1 roll. And my Amulet as well also had a fire damage multiplier. It was a tier 2 with like percent increase of fire damage and maximum life on it. Uh, and then of course the anoint, but we'll get to anoint later. And then the replica Emberwake cost me 2.5, 3 exalts. Can't quite remember. But altogether, I was able to buy these for the 6 exalts. And I say that with a little asterisk because this was like league start, so I got really lucky with it, and I was able to um, buy it for the cost that was coming or asking price for it. However, if I had waited about 7 more days or a week, this ring dropped drastically down to about 20 chaos, 30 chaos. I can't quite remember exactly, but we'll say at least 30 chaos. This amulet later on, I could have picked it up for probably 30 to 40 chaos. I was lucky to snipe this off of the trade website um, for like 10 chaos. Honestly, this probably would have been like a 20 to 30 chaos, maybe more. I'm not sure. I'm not that great in the market. I'm not the richest player. Um, and this weapon, I couldn't find during the league another weapon had tier 1 fire damage multiplier and damage over time, which I was able to get damage over time off of the harvest crafting. This was probably like a 2x weapon by the time I was done with the crafting. But at base, it just had fire damage over time. Um, that's the only skill it had on there. I think I had some resist on there originally just to kind of round myself out. And then I crafted 54 fire damage, which is all of, let's look that up, fire damage, 4 chaos. So that weapon, when I first got it, cost me an exalt and 4 chaos for the fire damage craft. But with harvest crafting, you can probably make this pretty easily. I'm not smart enough to use harvest crafting that well or effective, like some other people can. And the most expensive item on here I have is my exploding chest piece. Now I know I hate it when I'm looking at another channel saying that, hey, um, this build isn't that expensive, and then they show me a 15x item, which lastly it is. Obviously, exploding chest piece are well useless now. Well, not useless, but they got like severely dumped on. So, you know, not gonna be as accurate. But I can show you what it's like with the tabula rasa because I was able to find one during the league, and I can show you here how this build plays with the tabula rasa. If I can find a orb of regret real quick. Do 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 do. Seriously? Oh, there it is. I'll refund this 5% here, and just throw some dexterity on. How about that? All right, so I don't have exploding chest piece or anything. I do have other gear, obviously, but this is still completely viable. I have a random metal map. This actually seems kind of dangerous. We'll see how this goes. I have not tested it. I do not have my watchstones in, simply because it's too much of a hassle. The league has already ended, so this character migrated, and we'll have a watchstones remove tab, and I'm not gonna bother putting that in here. Um, because if you have a tabular rasa, you're not probably gonna be doing Awakening level 9, especially at league start. So we'll go from there. Now the exploding chest piece in this build was just more of a quality of life thing. As you can see here, the exploding chest piece was just kind of constantly chained the Herald of Ash. Even the Herald of Ash, which isn't even turned on right now, isn't that important if you want to like save mana, because we do proliferate. But it is always useful, so I'll turn it on now, and then we can see how differently it plays. You can kind of see the effects of it going off. So again, Herald of Ash doesn't really add any kind of damage to your ability or anything. It was just literally for quality of life with the exploding chest piece. So completely unnecessary to run. And I'll go ahead and see if I can find the boss real quick. It's not that way. And I believe this boss has twin maps or twin bosses. No, it's pretty simple. I didn't even use my wave of conviction. I just had to play smart, which I'll be the first one to admit. I don't play the smartest when it comes to boss killing. So yeah, that was my little, I guess, gameplay footage that you see in a lot of, build guides. So let's go into the build a little bit deeper. Like I said, this is an Armageddon Ignite build. So I did go with an anomalous Armageddon brand. Completely unnecessary. Again, it gives you a 5% chance to deal double damage. You still get a 12% to deal double damage while focused off of your shield. So 17% chance to deal double damage while focused. It's just for bosses. Sorry for the noise in the background, by the way. My dog is whining. I have 6 of them. You have to excuse them. So with every activation, you're gonna enable an ignite. And ignite kind of, from my understanding of it, and I could be wrong with it kind of acts like bleed and poison or any other dot effects, where you can have essentially multiple dot effects from the same source on a target, but the strongest one will continue to do damage. And if the duration wears out on the one that's strongest, it'll look for the next strongest one and keep on going. So I was stacking ignites you inflict deal damage faster. So I was trying to get my ignite to deal damage as fast as my Armageddon brand would activate. So that way every hit was just all the ignite damage at once. Another hit, all the ignite damage was at once. And I think I got the ignite down to about a second and 1.3 seconds, somewhere around there. But obviously, Armageddon brand activates every half a second. Or 0.6 seconds. So I didn't quite get there. And with more investment, I could have gotten there. I could have gotten that on my gloves, etc. But that was kind of the goal with the whole anomalous Armageddon brand. Try to deal all the damage possible. The regular Armageddon brand, the quality would give you cast speed, I believe, or activation frequency, which I didn't really care about. Attached to that, ignite proliferation. Again, this is why I said exploding chest piece. Was not important. You still proliferate. The next skill gem or support gem was Awaken Deadly Ailments. Pretty self-explanatory, so you can deal more damage with damage over time abilities, and they deal their damage faster. Again, back into, I guess, my goal of this build was at the time. Combustion support, reduce fire resistance, and increase fire damage, chance to ignite, which that didn't matter because I was an elementalist. Everything ignites. but overall just more damage. Waking up about ailments, and again, more damage over time. Um, Plus multipliers. Uh, just an overall good skill gem. And awaken burning damage. So obviously at League Start you'll have regular unbound and a regular burning damage support, but these two gems are super cheap, especially burning damage. I think it's like 20C at League Start, maybe a little bit more, maybe 40 to 60, but wait a week, and by the second week of the league, it's down to 20 chaos, if not sooner. Same thing with unbound ailments. Like no one really values these two gems, and I don't know why. And some of you might be asking why I'm not using Swift Affliction. Between the Ember Wake and Swift Affliction, my duration for Ignite would be almost 0. So it would never get past like a tick or two. I did try it, but the duration was so short and I wasn't burning fast enough. If I could get it down to the point where it deals all the Ignite damage within the duration of it, that'd be, perfect balance. Would be amazing. It would have been the Mozarts of this build, but I don't have the currency to generate a, gear and equipment to get to that level. And it was already overkill for most things I was doing. The only thing that I was really working on towards the end was just defenses, because I'm a terrible player and I don't know how to dodge things. So I was just dying to random things that I shouldn't. So that's why I'm not using Swift Affliction, and I would rather use Unbound Ailments. 1 second, please. What? Shh. Thank you, Bella. At League Start, my ring was a Pyre and a Replica Emberwake, but eventually I did get the Glory's Vanity Jewel. I just rolled it, got the effect, got Divine Flesh. I just wanted Chaos Resistance at one point or another, just because I didn't know how else to min-max this build. So I just went with it. But it was very hard to get the Chaos Resistance I needed without switching out my ring. If I was able to find a Surge through Chaos, say on my gloves, which was where I was going with it before I got a little bit bored with the league, and on my boots, that would have been great. And then I could put my Pyre back on, because it is a huge increase in damage. As you see, 91% increased burning damage, and help me out with porcupines. Early on, once you get Exploit Jets piece, the little porcupines don't matter anymore. So I would just say we'll switch this over to that, and able to reduce my mana cost a little bit, which kind of helps when you have Herald of Ash on and you're trying to essentially spam it. Because while you would play, you would just put Armageddon brand, pop an Armageddon brand, and keep on running, and just wipe out mobs that way. So that's my 6 link there. In my weapon, I have increased duration with Divergent Wave of Conviction and Frost Bomb. I put Frost on my build, not for any other reason other than Maven healing the bosses. That was really annoying, so this helped me just get around that. I hardly ever used it though. Divergent Wave of Conviction increases the skill effect duration, so by another 20%, so it just lasts longer, the exposure effect, which is useful, so you don't have to spam Wave of Conviction so often. Increase skill effect duration, just to, again, make this last longer. In my helmet, I have Tempest Shield and Phase Run, and Immortal Call, all linked to cast when damage taken. Level 8, level 4, and level 4, and a level 2. In my offhand, I have Overstorms, Flammability, all with Hex Touch support, so that's my curse setup. In my boots, I have Grace, Vol Grace, Second Wind, and Flame Dash. Vol Grace was something a friend of mine just recommended as more of a crap button, oh shoot button, or an oh shit, however you want to look at it or pronounce it or call it. It got me out some tight situations, definitely, so I do recommend it as a staple for the build. Portal, because I have open gym slots, so I'm sure y'all can probably figure out something else for. Malevolence, I'm a damage over time. That's pretty standard. Steel Skin, I have it linked to my movement, so it's always running. So as you can see, I have my Elemental Aegis, or Primal Aegis from the Elementalist Ascendancy. And then while I'm running, I have my Steel Skin on. So it's just another layer of defense. Shout out to Nugi for talking about defenses so much. Um, and then Herald of Ash, which, like I said, completely unnecessary. You don't need to run it. You can probably put in anything else that you might want to put in there. I don't know what else we would put in here. If you can reduce your mana resurrection some more, you can put in Zealotry. Yeah, it was just to clear out mobs more and more. Already went over my scepter with the damage over time. My shield just has 96% increased fire damage. I threw some life on there, some resistances. It was just to round out my lightning resistance. Amulet, Priest of Sanator, we just stacking damage on there. With Harvest Craft, you can remove the fire damage to attacks, I believe. Or did they nerf that? I'm not quite sure. I haven't paid attention to PoE for about a month and a half until these new patch notes came out. My helmet is just 100% to maximum life with more lightning resistance. And then had open suffix so I could put fire resistance. And I got my Armageddon brand enchantment. This cost me, again, I got majority of the stuff at League Start within the first 2 to 3 weeks. This cost me roughly in Exalt when they were about like 80 Chaos before they kind of evened out at 100. So again, I was lucky enough to find some good stuff and able to get some value for it. My gloves, I just need some with dexterity because dexterity was taking up so many nodes on my tree that it was actually really annoying. And my belt was just literally just resistances, resistances, resistances. My boots, I was able to find with ignites. You inflict deal 10% faster, and I was able to use Harvest Craft to roll a movement or a speed roll on there, so I was able to get that, and then the rest was all was already there. So it was an easy roll. I just got lucky off of killing one of the bosses. But boots like these would cost you 20, 30 chaos in that ballpark, even at League Start, I believe. I could be wrong. Let's see. Is there anything else to really talk about? Leveling up, I just grabbed two wands, which would have been could have saved a lot of time if I would have remembered that burning damage does not scale off of spell damage. It only scales off of elemental damage, and I would have been using scepters had I remembered. But I was an idiot, so I ran with wands until I got the maps, and then I found some scepters, and I remember, man, what can I do? And then I remembered burning damage does not scale off of spell damage, and then I swapped all that stuff out. Um, and then Harvest was able to alternate the qualities from to physical damage to increase elemental damage, so no brainer. I did farm a Tabula Rasa in uh, the Blood Aqueducts, and then I just found one. I was like at one card away from completing it, and then just dropped. But you can farm a Tabula in the Blood Aqueducts, as most people know. Uh, I killed Cyrus on a Awakener level 3, I think, with a Tabby. Um, Then I went and found a chess piece that just had life and resistances and some dexterity. And that actually carried me over. And I experimented with Lore Weave, which was, um, it was good. It was really, really good. And it's probably the best chess piece for this build. Because we're not going low life. You can go low life with Chevrons. I didn't build it that way because I didn't really see a need to. But it's also more cost investment uh, for the build to do that. So I just kind of went away from the low life builds. And the whole point of getting low life is so you can have pain attunement, in my opinion. Um, and I'm not trying to stretch my tree out that way. And two, spell damage doesn't affect the burning. It will only affect the Armageddon brand itself, which we don't care about the actual brand damage itself. We care about the ignite damage and the proliferation. So just find yourself a decent chess piece with 4 blues, a green, and a red, and then you'll be square. Or get a tabula, or whatever you feel is best for the build you're trying to do. I recommend a Lord Weave as an endgame option, or um, since you have so much ignite, you can always switch um, your Ascendancy on the Witch to go to Shaper of Storm, so everything always shocks, and then you can run a Impulsa for the clear. However, I don't really recommend it. I'd rather be Elemental, Reflect Immune, and then I went with Mastermind Discord because we are applying exposure through Wave of Conviction. This applies another 25%. Sorry about that. My wife's getting me in the same room as I'm doing this video. And I'm also doing this on the fly. I think I said that earlier. So sorry about that. And then we go to Heart of Destruction, which is you gain convergence when you hit a unique enemy, which is your bosses. So this is just a 30% increase damage. No, sorry, not increase damage. 30% more damage for 4 seconds. And then when you don't have it, you just have a great amount of area effects, which is great for clearing maps. On the tree, this was towards the end of the league where I finally found some decent amount of currency, so I was able to buy some cluster jewels. This is completely added on. You can take this off, and I'll show you in path of building here in a second. This is completely unnecessary. I just did it to say I did it, and it's honestly probably a waste of points. We'll play with that here in a second. But one is what I went with, and that's because I wanted to have Burning Bright um, as much as I can, because just the biggest increase of damage for us, rather than like cutting across for all the damage over time goes over here, which is the original mistake I made. And then when I came back this way, the world opened up to me. But just look for a large cluster jewel that has Burning Bright in 2 sockets, obviously, and then widespread destruction. That's usually a pretty easy roll to get. You can chaos spam for that, or alt spam and then regal it. On the medium cluster jewels, I wanted Burning Bright and I wanted Blowback. Again, I was stacking Ignite Speed, so this is another 30% Ignite Speed on top of what I get in the tree. And then originally I had Surging Vitality gems, similar to this one, that had 25% increase effect and Surging Vitality. And then one had attributes, which you're looking at here, and the other one had life. I let a friend of mine borrow the one with life. Eventually, I was able to upgrade to Fettle, because then it allows me to remove points from the large life cluster jewel over here. And that's pretty much the only reason I went to Fettle. If you can find Fettle with 25% increase, that's another huge upgrade, and you can pretty much just drop all these points this way, and then you can use them elsewhere. But that's totally endgame. I talked about the Glorious Vanity a little bit earlier. Other things to note are the Holy Fire, faster ignite damage again. If you don't have this cluster jewel, which you obviously want League Star, this is all endgame, you would stay with Explosive Impact, so you would just come over this way and spend 4 points here. And then I forgot about this, an Arsonist, so you would spend 1 point here and 3 points over here for a total of 4 points, and that kind of clears up the medium cluster jewels. And towards the end, I stuck with this side of the tree just for more life. And early on, I did go with Tireless just to reduce the mana cost of skills to make it easier for me. And it was an easy 5, 10, 15, 23% maximum life. So for me, it was a lot easier, but my tree looked a lot different then. And then for my jewel sockets, I was just looking for dexterity. Again, this build is really starved for dexterity. Even on my exploding chest piece, quality increases, went to dexterity. Because you can see when originally, without this point right here, I still need 3 dexterity, and the alternate quality on the chest helped out a lot with that. So let's go ahead and switch the path of building real quick. And here's the tree. So as you can see, this is 4.1 million ignite DPS. And if you go to configuration, I do have it at minus 35, but we can take that off. And then we're still only 3.3, which is more than enough for the all the end game content with no problems. And then, like I said, this is completely unnecessary. You drop that. You're down to 1.2. However, we originally had, oh boy, forgot how many points I had in there. 115 points, right? So drop that. Now we're having all the points in order to play with, which you can go here and here. You're back at 2.4. You go here, you go here. We're back at 2.5. And that's pretty much what I would do for my character, and then actually just round it off with like defenses, because you still have 12 points to play with. So before I had this, ooh, no, none. There we go. So before I had that, I had another skill gem here that increased fire damage. You're able to go here, 2.6, still more than enough to do almost all the content in the game. Actually, all the content in the game, and then the rest of the points you can spend in here for mana multipliers. Which you can see here, each one of these are about 37,000 DPS increase. You can pick up another jewel socket right there, add more fire damage. So you can take all the life points here. You can increase your resistances by going straight up through there. And if you're taking a lore weave, on top of that, you'll have, if you have a good rolled lore weave, your resistances are all at 79. And now you're becoming really, really tanky. However, I did not do that. And instead I went with Glorious Vanity for extra defenses. And I did go with the cluster jewel. But again, that was all end game, and it was just a matter of I was already killing everything in the game, clearing it out with no problem, outside of bad playing, and I had no idea how else to increase my damage. So that's the only reason I took those points in my cluster jewel. It was just the next step, I guess you could say, the progression of the natural progression of the build. And I also needed a way to do that and keep a point here, because you guys are wondering why I don't have another life jewel. I needed this. I need my silence, immune to silence and corrupted blood. There was, lastly, I feel like I was being silenced every 2 seconds is honestly what it felt like. Yeah, it's really bad. I did not like the amount of silence I felt was going on last league. So I have an extra point. I don't know where it goes, but whatever. We'll just put it there. So yeah, so 3.3 million with that cluster jewel, 800,000 less without this here. But if you don't take that, you'll be pushing a little bit over 6k life, where I'm pushing barely above 5,000. The other thing to be aware of is a lot of people will probably immediately go to Growth and Decay. It is a great node to anoint onto your amulet. However, on my amulet, I anointed Burning Brutality. It's a lot more, it's a larger damage increase than Growth and Decay by, I believe it was somewhere in the ballpark of like 30,000. So this is me 175. And the other one, no, 25,000. This one was giving me, just for that, was giving me 200,000. So a slight increase, but an increase nonetheless, because my knight's dealing damage faster, and it's a multiplier effect. So good stuff there. I wonder if I am forgetting anything. Cinder Swallow. Um, just do your betrayals and try to get it. It's pretty easy. Witchfire Brew was one of the reasons why I wanted a cursed chess piece. Uh, and I figured I must just go for explosion because of the despair. Despair I use mainly for map clearing, and then for bosses definitely have flammability. However, since I only have one curse at a time during a boss, if I pop the Witchfire Brew and they got too close, it overrides the flammability. So an additional curse chess piece I would highly recommend. Uh, but again, not absolutely necessary. It's very min-maxy at that point. Uh, Azir's Promise is also a huge increase according to Path of Building. Um, I believe it is a 400. Actually, let me disable everything. It is a 333 DPS increase. So, and Aziri's Promise costs a grand total of 1 chaos, 2 chaos, somewhere around there. And a perfect rolled one, I think it costs 10 chaos. Really inexpensive and a huge, huge boost to damage. And you get some of it back as life. So that doesn't hurt. And it also helps out with Gauss resistance early on in the game. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you find this build useful. I'm thinking about starting it again, or maybe I might go with Reap because I really like blood skills in games. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, concerns, please leave some comments down in the video. I'll leave a path of building link in the description below. And yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.